Okay, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to the church at Ocean Park. So I'm going to ask you, we're going to start off today with what do we say? So happy Black History Month and
Happy Black History Month.
happy February, a month of Black designation. I mean, people are saying it all kinds of ways. So we're going to start off today actually singing Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Oh.
So I'll ask everybody to mute, and Mom, it's okay. You're muted already, Mom. And so go ahead and mute everybody. And I am going to share my screen with the words because there are many, and yet they are so beautiful. This started off as a poem written in 1899, and then it was put to James Weldon Johnson and J. Rosamond Johnson, and then it was put to music to use as a celebration of Lincoln's birthday. And let's see. Oh, Louise, I see you put it in the chat. I was thinking of actually sharing my screen with the big words.
Either one or both.
Okay, so we're gonna have it two different ways because there are many words and they are so beautiful. So here we go. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of faith that the dark past has brought us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the day when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our people sighed. Or you can say our fathers and mothers if you want. Yes. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out of the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. Now, many times you will hear people begin a prayer by saying, God of our weary years, God of our silent tears. And when you hear them doing that, they are referring to the beautiful third verse of this song. And you see there at the bottom of the screen by Rosamond J. Johnson and James Weldon Johnson. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far Keep us forever in the path, we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land, our native land. Welcome to the church at Ocean Park. So glad to be celebrating together. Yes, so I love all the names people are coming up with. Black History Month, History of All of Us Month, with a particular focus on the African American experience. So thanks, everybody.
So I'm here to welcome you. My name is Maureen Dean, and I'm a member of the church in Ocean Park. I'm here to welcome you to this unique interfaith community that is dedicated to social justice. You may be wondering if you're welcome here, so let us know. Let us share with you how welcome you are from wherever you are in the world. We are interfaith, so you're welcome if you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, if you're Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, atheist, Yoruba, Ifo, or some combination of something or somebody else. You're all welcome. We extend a special invitation to those who are single, married, divorced, gay, transgender, filthy rich, or dirt poor. We extend a special invitation to those who are crying newborns, just browsing, just woke up, or just got out of jail. We don't care if you're more religious than the Pope or haven't been to a church since your nephew's baptism. We extend a special invitation to those who are over 60 but not grown up yet, and to teenagers who are growing up too fast. We invite soccer moms, tea huggers, tree huggers, latte sippers, vegetarians, junk food eaters. We invite those who are in recovery or still addicted. We invite you if you're having problems or feeling down. We welcome you, those who like organized religion or those who don't. We offer a special invitation to those who work too hard, don't work, can't spell, or because they're bored with staying home all day and heard about this strange church and decided to get on the Zoom this morning. You're welcome. We invite those who are inked, pierced, or both. We offer a special invitation to those who could use a prayer right now or had religion shoved down your throat as a kid. We invite tourists, seekers, doubters, and you. Welcome to the church in Ocean Park. So at this point, we're going to center ourselves with one of the chants that we use. The chant that we use is the Thich Nhat Hanh chant. And it just says, I've arrived, I'm home, I'm here, I'm in the here and in the now, and we repeat it 3 times. And wonderful thing about this church, you don't even have to can sing very well, but you learn to sing. So here it goes. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to try and lead you in this, right? Okay, so it goes like this. I'm going to repeat it 3 times. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. One more time. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now.
Thank you, Maureen. My name is Janet Gollery McKeithan. I'm the minister here at the church in Ocean Park, and I also welcome you. You're welcome, as Maureen said, no matter who you are, where you've been, and where you're going. We welcome you because we welcome all different faith traditions. You may hear something that you disagree with. If you do, note it and say, thank you very much. I just learned a new perspective. If you'd like to talk about that, you can share in community sharing. You can share in the chat, or you can email us later on if you'd like. There's no one person that talks for the church in Ocean Park except for the administrative board. So if you hear something you disagree with, it doesn't mean that the church in Ocean Park as a whole believes those things, because we don't all agree on many things. There are many things we do agree on, but there are some things that we don't. So just know that you're welcome here, whether or not you hear something that is not your perspective. It's by intention. I want to begin this morning by inviting you to acknowledge the stolen land that we're all sitting on or standing on, most of us sitting on this morning. We are, if we're in the Santa Monica area, we're sitting on the land of the Quiche or the Chumash or the Tonga. Where you are, it may be some other indigenous community. But it's stolen land, and it's land that was taken very violently. And so we acknowledge that has been a violent way of being where we are. And we commit to working with the people who are still here, the indigenous people among us, in a community of repair. So we welcome you to the church in Ocean Park. We're going to see a video now about Black History Month, created by Kathleen.
From race to grace, building the beloved community. On this journey, we listen, we learn, we honor, we celebrate. I find myself at the intersection of race and sexism. Love is here. Spirit is here guiding me, and I am celebrated. I can now do my part in building the beloved community. I'm sharing some photos that will take you on a journey of moments and people who have contributed to the foundation of the beloved community and have contributed to the flight of the blackbird. At the end of this journey, you will see an art piece that represents what a blackbird looks like when it rises into its divine state. The blackbird is she, and he, the blackbird, is me. It is the we that is the I. It is the all that is included in I am celebrated. Enjoy. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes, you know you can see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird fly. Blackbird, you know we can fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings, you know we can fly. All our life, we were only waiting for this moment so we could heal. We were only waiting for this moment so we could feel. We were only waiting for our true self to be revealed. Blackbird, fly!
Yes, Kathleen is here. Kathleen, could you wave your hand? If you have any questions or anything, Kathleen Benjamin created that video and sang on that video. It was beautiful. It's so moving. Thank you so much.
That was wonderful, Kathleen.
Wasn't that great? So Louise, now we know she can sing like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, little did we know.
That's right. That was wonderful and beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, I would like to share a song. Put the words in the chat. It's called We Who Believe in Freedom Cannot Rest. Actually, it's called Ella's Song. And this is written by Bernice Johnson Regan of Sweet Honey in the Rock. Yeah, it's a wonderful song. Please join me in singing the chorus, and the words are there so you can see them. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Until the killing of black men, black mothers' sons, is as important as the killing of white men, white mothers' sons. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. That which touches me most is that I had a chance to work with people, passing on to others that which was passed on to me. To me, young people come first. They have the courage where we fail. And if I can but shed some light as they carry us through the gale, we who believe in freedom cannot rest. No, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. The older I get, the better I know that the secret of my going on is when the reins are in the hands of the young who dare to run against the storm. Not needing to clutch for power, not needing the light just to shine on me. I need to be one in the number as we stand against tyranny. Oh, so we who believe in freedom cannot rest. Oh, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Struggling myself don't mean a whole lot. I've come to realize that teaching others to stand up and fight is the only way my struggle survives. So we who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. I'm a woman who speaks in a voice, and I must be heard. At times I can be quite difficult. I'll bow to no man's word. So we who believe in freedom cannot rest. Cannot rest. No, no. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. No, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes.
Beautiful. Thank you, Louise. I have the opportunity to introduce one of my favorite people in the world. Dr. Melina Abdullah is a professor of Pan-African Studies at California State University, Los Angeles, and the immediate past department chair. Dr. Abdullah earned her PhD from the University of Southern California in political science and her BA from Howard University in African American Studies. She is recognized as an expert on race, gender, class, and social movements. Dr. Abdullah is the author of numerous scholarly articles on book chapters, with subjects ranging from political coalition building to womanist mothering. Professor Abdullah is a womanist scholar activist, understanding that the role she plays in the academy is intrinsically linked to broader struggles for the liberation of oppressed people. She was among the original group of organizers that convened to form Black Lives Matter, and continues to serve as Los Angeles chapter lead, policy team lead for the California chapter, and co-director of Black Lives Matter Grassroots. From 2014 to 2018, Dr. Abdullah was Los Angeles County Human Relations Commissioner, where she initiated and chaired the countywide hearings on community experiences with policing. And she was instrumental in replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. Melina is creator, host, and producer of the radio program Move the Crowd, and co-host and co-producer of Beautiful Struggle, both on KPFK. Most recently, she was honored with the 2021 Martin Luther King Jr. Award from Loyola Marymount University, the 2020 George Regas Peace Award, 2020 35th California State Senate District Woman of the Year, 2019 Community Organizing Award, 2019 Carpenter of Courage Award, 2018 Community Service Award, 2017 Unsung Heroes Award, 2017 Extraordinary Service Award, 2017 Justice Work Award from Beyond the Bars, 2017 Freedom Fighter Award from the NAACP, 2017 Activist Award presented by the National Association for Ethnic Studies, the 2016 Racial Justice Award presented by the YWCA, 2 Fannie Lou Hamer Awards, 2016 Sacred Sisters Award, 2016 California Teachers Association Human Rights Award, the 2016 BCCLA Ella Baker Award, the 2015 Freedom Now Award, and the 2015 Communitas Award from the church in Ocean Park. And that's only in the last 5 years. We'll stop there. Dr. Abdullah is in the classroom, in the boardroom, in the halls of injustice, and in her home, in the streets, all the while working for justice and against systems of injustice, all the while encircling her children with a community of care and the freedom to express their own power. Whew. Let's welcome our friend and a part of the church in Ocean Park, someone I deeply respect and I'm so honored to know, Dr. Melina Abdullah.
Fantastic. Whew. Now,
Yeah.
she is going to be with us this morning. I think she's finishing either a podcast or something, and so she is doing that right now. So I had a conversation with her yesterday, but she will be here in time for community sharing with us today. So please, as you're listening to this conversation, be thinking of what kinds of questions that you want to ask to her, because she's going to be with us. So let me just share my screen. I'll show you what we talked about yesterday.
And thank you so much. And I know that remembering the ancestors, it sounds like that's a part of a way that you like to be centered and get ready for speeches and movement meetings, etc. So what ancestors would you like to remember?
Wow, I've never been asked that as a first question, but it's appropriate, and thank you. And I think just as we think about the month of February and what Black History Month means, of course, we want to begin by calling in the spirit of Dr. Carter G. Woodson, whose tremendous vision birthed Black History Month. Yes, we want to call in the brilliant, beautiful, powerful ancestors who had birthdays this month: Frederick Douglass, Fannie Lou Hamer, Mrs. Rosa Parks, Huey P. Newton. We want to also remember Andrew Joseph III, who was killed in Tampa, Florida, as he was celebrating Student Day at the county fair, who is also my blood relative, and his birthday would have been Saturday, February 6th. So we call on Andrew Joseph III. We call on Trayvon Martin, whose birthday would have been February 5th. He would have been 26 years old this year. And as we call these ancestors and those on whose behalf we struggle into the space, we pray that our mightiest warrior ancestors work with us and through us, that our Creator works with us and through us, and that we do the work and engage in beautiful struggle that honors them. And so thank you for inviting me to call those spirits into this space.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Oh, and thank you. I know these days there are some people who say, Black Lives Matter is not associated with spirituality or with the church or churches or religion at all. Now, what do you say to that?
I think that that's laughable, and clearly someone who knows nothing about Black Lives Matter. I think that our friends at the church at Ocean Park know all too well that Black Lives Matter is probably primarily a spiritual movement. That it took us about a year to understand how much of a spiritual movement we were. But one of the first things that we do when someone's killed by police or killed by white supremacy is we go out into that space and pour libation for them. And we're often literally standing on their blood. So how can we not be a spiritual movement? We also know that the way that Black people have become freer in this world has always been through the use of spiritual tools, right? So I think about the spiritual tools that beat back colonialism on the continent of Africa. I think about the spiritual tools that were summoned in when we think about the Haitian Revolution. I think about the spiritual tools that fought chattel slavery and how people like Mama Harriet Tubman talked about the voice of God literally speaking to her and guiding her as she freed over 1,000 of our foremothers and forefathers from chattel slavery. I think about the spiritual tools and the spiritual energy that was used to end the first wave of lynching and the groundedness that the civil rights movement had in spirituality. I think about Black power warriors like our own Mama Trudy Goodwin. And the spirituality, the way in which she just exudes spirit in every space that she occupies, both as a former member of the Black Panther Party and now as a member of Black Lives Matter and a member of the church at Ocean Park. And so we are a spiritual movement. We're a spiritual movement, and we absolutely believe in the usage of spiritual tools, that we have to always heed the voice of God and allow our ancestors, our most righteous ancestors, to guide us. That when we say the names of the people who've been killed by police and white supremacy, that's also a spiritual tool, that we're asking for their presence so that our struggle can be right with them and also be empowered beyond what we have the seen power to do, right? So oftentimes it seems like, how can the people beat the state? But the people can beat the state when God is working through us. And so we are absolutely a spiritual movement.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Now, religion and politics, many of our students, we study about that, and our religious traditions, our communities, we think about that, because some say that it should be separate, but how can that even be? And we look at what has happened in this country, people having an insurrection while holding up Bibles and crosses and, spirit, the religion and politics. And I know that's a question that I hear a lot from students and from many different people.
Yeah, so I think that that is a line that is fed to some of us. But those who uphold white supremacist, patriarchal, heteronormative capitalism, those who did things like stage a failed coup on January 6th, they don't back away from religion, right? They claim to be moving based on their religious practices. And so it is oppressed people, I think, in large part because of what we just talked about, that our power is really in the spiritual spiritual weapons and the spiritual tools, right? No weapon formed against me shall prosper, right? That they're trying to get us to back away from our most powerful tool. Our most powerful tool is absolutely spirit. And I'm saying this when you talk about religion and politics, it's important that we break that down, right? So politics is absolutely about electoral politics and who's in office and voting and those kinds of things. But at its core, and I'm speaking as one who has a doctorate in political science, right? That politics is really power. It's beyond government. It's about power, right? And when you talk about religion, I think it's also important that we talk about religion not in terms of just an institution, but in terms of spirit, right? So how can we be pushing to empower those who've been oppressed without using spirit? So the idea that religion and politics should remain separate is absolutely a false assertion, and one that's been used by, I think, the religious right, to disempower those of us who have been kind of under their heel.
Now, I've heard you talk about all Black lives matter. And as you say that, who are you including? What is that inclusion that you are bringing to that phrase?
Right. So when we say all Black lives matter, we mean just that. All Black lives matter. Who are we including? We're including all Black people. And so if we're to parse it out, it's important that we think about how Black freedom struggle has evolved, right? And Black freedom struggle, we had again been pushed into adopting this position of respectability. And so if we think about how we've evolved since the civil rights era, right, when Claudette Colvin was pushed aside as a teenage, unmarried, pregnant girl who had a political consciousness and really should have been used for desegregation, was pushed aside in favor of Mrs. Rosa Parks, who we absolutely love and appreciate and understand her quiet strength and quiet power, but also understand what that meant, that Claudette was not used in the same way, wasn't allowed to step into her fullest potential because of this notion of respectability. Well, we've evolved since then. And when we say all Black lives matter, you know, absolutely, Sister Claudette could have been used for desegregation. We mean all Black lives matter. We mean trans Black lives matter. We mean queer Black lives matter. We mean Black mamas' lives matter. We mean Black formerly incarcerated lives matter. We mean Black currently incarcerated lives matter. We mean every single Black person's life matters. And I think that it's also imperative that we get underneath the why. You know, as we think about Black History Month, right, we need to think about the teachings, right? This is a Sankofa moment where we move forward by looking back. And, you know, a lot of us are familiar with the image of the Sankofa bird, right, whose feet are planted and moving firmly forward, but its neck is completely craned backwards, and it has an egg in its mouth. And what it's representative of is that there are lessons and tools and teachings from the past that empower our work forward. And you cannot get to a future, to a free future, without turning your head backwards. And so I think one of the teachings, as we think about Black history, is something that was spoken in many different ways by many different people, including Frederick Douglass, including Mama Harriet Tubman. How can I be free if my brother or sister is enslaved? And so when we say all Black lives matter, we remember that we are all linked together, that our fate is tied to one another. I think about this beautiful offering that one of my friends / comrades / colleagues, and I'm very fortunate to call him all of these things, Jody Armour, who is the Roy P. Crocker professor of law at USC. He wrote this beautiful book that I'm grateful he invited me to write an intro to, called N-word theory. I don't use the N-word, but he does, right? N-word theory. I think he brilliantly articulates and drills down on what we mean when we say all Black lives matter. It's a rejection of respectability politics. And what he challenges us to do in that book is to remember to reject, there's a joke, I love Black people, but I hate ends, right? And he says, we have to love ends, right? And we have to say that, in many ways, we are ends, regardless of what your job is right now, or where you live right now, or any letters you have before or behind your name right now, you are still an end. And we have to identify with the ends of the world, because until the Black folks who are imprisoned are free, until Black death row inmates are free, until we build a world that loves on them and creates a freedom for them, we're never really free. It's just an illusion of freedom. And so that's what we mean, and that's the imperative behind making all Black lives matter, that we have to remember that those who are most marginalized, most oppressed, it's them that we have to embrace and work for the freedom of.
Absolutely. Now, I know that I heard, one of my favorite things is the podcast that you did on Life Examined. And I love listening to that. And I think I mentioned, I always assign that to my students, that they have to listen to you. And you spoke about the Muslim community. And we don't hear as much about, African Americans who are Muslim and those who might still be in the nation, so how can we bring the communities together?
So one, I think there is a casting of Muslims as Middle Eastern men, right? We have to remember that in the United States, the plurality of Muslims are Black. And so when Black folks, especially African Americans, kind of are duped into believing that Islam and Islamophobia is not our issue, we have to remember how much of our issue it is. So this gets back to your whole question about making all Black lives matter, right? That the targeting of Muslims is the targeting of Black people. So we have to work to reject Islamophobia, to confront Islamophobia. And, I think embedded in the question that you asked is also this idea, there's been, and I don't know how smart it is to share this, but I'm having faith and I know what community I'm in. So I'm gonna just share it this way, that those of us who identify as Muslim, often that identity is used to allege that we're somehow, that our very being and spiritual practice makes us anti-Jewish. And I think that that's another way that they have attacked Muslims and Black Muslims in particular. We have to remember that Islam is absolutely a religion of peace and a religion of justice. And Islam, at its foundation, is really about the coming together of all people, right? And so we have to reject what I still believe white supremacist, patriarchal, heteronormative capitalism is manipulating, right? What they're manipulating when you summon into your mind an image of what it means to be Muslim. It is something that they've created. Just like when you summon into your mind an image of what it means to be Black, it's something that this existing hegemony has created. And these are false images, right? So it's important that we come together and understand that the basic foundation of every single religion in this world is really about peace. It's really about ushering in the world that the Creator, whatever you call the Creator, wants to be. And so I think that I saw a tweet recently from Ilhan Omar, who talked about, one of the things that I think politics has made us fearful of discussing is that assault, that failed coup on the Capitol, was also a targeting of Muslims, right? Was also a targeting of Representative Omar and Representative Tlaib and other Muslims who were in government. And we can't, leave out Islamophobia as we try to root out the oppressions that we're seeing kind of be unveiled in this world.
Yes. So just one last question. What would you like to say? Because I know we will have people watching this. We've got, like little young ones and high school and college age, and some who are, what will we say, more seasoned. We'll put it that way. What do you want to say about the future? So point us toward the future.
I think, and I've been saying this since Brother George Floyd's life was stolen. He must have been just an incredible soul, because with the theft of his body, his spirit has created conditions where the world is cracked wide open. The world is cracked wide open. Now, there are people who are attempting to close this portal that's been opened. They're trying to close it back up and get us back to where we were before the pandemic. When is the world going to go back to normal? We have to remember that for Black people, for oppressed people, going back never means something good, right? That only a move forward towards a radically free Black future is what is desirable and necessary, and freedom and justice for us. And so we're in a moment where the world has cracked wide open. We have an opportunity to completely reimagine the world and build the world into one where Black people are free, and by extension, everybody else also gets free. And so what I want to offer is, especially in Black History Month, right, as we're looking back to move forward, right, that we recommit ourselves to the beautiful struggle that Dr. King talked about, that we be courageous, that we be brave, that we be visionary. I'm also thinking about Bob Marley, whose birthday was also Saturday, right?
Yes.
Yes. That we think about how to use every single tool in our toolbox to get us to freedom, that we use absolutely our spiritual work, that we use politics, our power, that we use our organizing work, that we use our love for one another in the building of community, and that we use our creativity as an offering, as divine offerings that usher in the world in which we deserve to live in. So this is not a time to kind of sit back and say, okay, Joe Biden is in office, Kamala Harris is in office, and we entrust them to move us forward. No, what we've witnessed, what we're experiencing is a weakening of the boot on our necks. This is the time to rise up. This is the time to cast off white supremacist, patriarchal, heteronormative capitalism. This is the time to think about and to understand that abolition means casting off and building something new. This is the time to say, we don't need police at all. We don't need prisons at all. We don't need an educational system that tethers our children to Zoom meetings, right? We don't need an economic system that says that we are going to enable a small number of owners to profit off of the labor of the working class. We can transform the economic system. This is a time when we can say, it is absolutely sinful that people are living unhoused, right? And that we have space to house everyone. This is a time when we can say, you know, absolutely, we want to remain safe from the coronavirus.
Right.
And we also demand a medical system that gets to the root of what it means to build a healthy society. That part of that means having enough free time to actually exercise, having mental health care, having the space to meditate, having access to healthy and fresh food in every neighborhood, right? And so this is a time when the world has cracked wide open and we are called in to reimagine and make the world in which our ancestors' wildest dreams kind of brought to the fore. And we have an opportunity right now to bring that to fruition.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I feel like my heart is cracked wide open. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm so blessed to be with you. Thank you for the conversation.
Okay, so we'll continue on with questions and look forward to being in live conversation with you. But I really appreciate the fact that you were able to take the time to do this.
Absolutely.
So take care.
You too.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Kim and Melina. Okay, I would like to share a song with you. This song is by Maggie Wheeler. She visited us once, and it's called Maybe I'll Sing. So the words are in the chat. Maybe I'm sad, maybe I'm mad, maybe that's why my body feels bad. Maybe I'm sad, maybe I'm hurt, maybe my brain's on high alert. Maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll shout, maybe I'll let my feelings out. Maybe I'll stand in the rain, maybe I'll let go of my pain. Maybe I'll trust, maybe I'll pray, maybe that's how I'll find the way. Maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll sing. Maybe I feel dark despair, maybe that's why I can't get air. Maybe I'm laden down with grief, maybe that's why I need relief. Maybe I'll cry, maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll let my true voice ring. Maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll see, maybe I'll let myself be free. Maybe I'll dance, maybe I'll run, maybe I'll stand out in the sun. Maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll sing. Maybe I'm sad, maybe I'm mad, maybe that's why my body feels bad. Maybe my heart needs to grieve, maybe that's why it's hard to breathe. Maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll shout, maybe I'll let my feelings out. Maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll see, maybe I'll let myself be free. Maybe I'll trust, maybe I'll pray, maybe that's how I'll find my way. Maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll sing. Maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll sing. I'm gonna sing, yes, I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna sing.
so much, Louise. And I know that Dr. Melina Abdullah is with us now. Now, she might be still connecting. Are you connected?
I'm connected, but I can't yet go on camera.
I understand. Okay, so but thanks so much. We were just listening to the recording that you and I made yesterday, and that still just makes me quiver all over and breaks my heart wide open to hear that. So, Reverend Janet, I know you're going to lead us in our community sharing, but welcome, Dr. Melina Abdullah. Oh, thank you so much. So, Reverend Janet, you're on mute.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Dr. Melina. It's great to have you here. I'm so glad that you made it from your other call. She's very obviously very wanted in many different locations at the same time. So we're lucky to get her. We have a time of community sharing now, and some of you were in the waiting room. You may have seen a notice this morning. We are recording the service, and one of the things that is different about the church in Ocean Park, there's many things different about the church in Ocean Park, but one of them is that we do have community sharing. So when we post our services, we would like to be able to post the community sharing time. And so we're going to do that. If you would like your piece of that to be deleted, all you need to do is to private chat Louise Dobbs. Go in there and find her, or just let one of us know, because we can delete you either before you start speaking or after. So if you get talking and there's something that you said that you think, well, wait a minute, that shouldn't have been recorded. You can do it later, but you can also do it ahead of time. And nobody needs to know that you're doing that. It just could be with Louise and your communication. So with that said, I will start the sharing process with Gina Fraser.
Hello. Hi, Melina. I'm so happy you're on today. So I have a question regarding the podcast yesterday that you had, and you stated that as Black people, we have to understand that Muslim or Islam people are Black. So when you say all Black Lives Matter, they are included. So my question is, I just wanted to ask, do you think or feel that Muslims or Islam people believe that Black Lives Matter? And do you understand?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, do you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, so I think what I said is that the plurality of Muslims are also Black, right? So I'm Black and Muslim at the same time. My daughter is Black and Muslim at the same time. And so the question that I was responding to was really Sister Kim's question about what do we mean when we say all Black Lives Matter? And, it's important that we understand that there's intersectionalities that we have that include, we're both, I think you identify as a woman, right? Right. So we're both women and Black at the same time, and Black women, which can't be ferreted out to, either just womanhood or Blackness all together, right? So I'm an intersectional being. Black Muslims are intersectional beings. And so that's what I was trying to say. I'm of course not saying that every single Muslim is also Black, but there is a lot of intersection between Black and Muslim identities. And then the question about, do Muslims believe all Black Lives Matter? It depends on the Muslim, just like it depends on the Christian, right? So not everybody agrees with that, but we do have significant participation in Black Lives Matter from Muslim communities. We have different mosques and masjids and Muslim leaders who are deeply involved in our work. And so for them, yes, all Black Lives Matter, but not necessarily for every Muslim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Craig, Claudia, Kevin, Daria, whichever one it is.
Um,
Oh,
I'm having a problem in my neighborhood with people who are anti-Semitic. There's a Jewish family and they speak Hebrew most of the time outside with their children. They have 5 kids. And one of his neighbors is spreading rumors about him all the time. I just found a sheet on my doorstep this morning. So someone went out about 4 or 5 in the morning to put this false information out, trying to scare people about this family. It's so, I know this hatred is going on and it's right in my face. My question is, it's going to be a long haul, especially in states that won't open voting booths in Black neighborhoods. They won't open them. They make it hard for IDs to be gotten when they demand 2 IDs. And so it's going to be a long haul, isn't it, to take over these legislation of these states to finally get voting rights back into these states.
Yes, I agree with what you're saying. It will be a long haul to get voting rights. There are, I know, efforts by people like Cedric Richmond in Congress to pass a new voting rights bill. So there's efforts there. I'm sorry to hear about your neighbor. I don't know what to say about that, but of course we have to fight back against every form of hate and oppression. And, you know, we absolutely have to stand strong against anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, racism, sexism, I'd say capitalism too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Okay, now Craig, Claudia, it's Daria, okay?
Melinda, you talked about at the beginning of your interview with Kim about the intersection of religion and politics. And I think it was amazing you did that because in my application to Harvard Divinity, there was a section where we had to choose what's called an area of focus. And there were many to choose from, but I chose religion, ethics, and politics. Because like you said in your interview, the political and the religious, and of course the ethical, go together. And I think it's amazing that you talked about that with Kim, because it's something that, like you said, a lot of people want to try to divide, but it's a very togetherness kind of thing. And I know that sounds really stupid, but it's not. So thank you for everything that you've said. My heart was cracked open again. And thank you.
Thank you, Daria. Craig Walter.
Good morning. I want to first say that I am amongst royalty in terms of wisdom with this sister here. I have a couple of comments and then a question. My first comment in relationship to the N-word and Chris Rock. Although he was Black and he was referring to those folks, and I think he meant 90% of them that exhibited that type of behavior were also Black. Before I stopped using it, I was led to believe that a N-word was not necessarily a color, but a type of person. Now, what that leads me to believe is if we look at the acts of January 6th and those who tried to breach the Capitol, keeping that in mind that an N-word is a type of person, then how would we therefore then describe them? That's my comment, specifically.
How would we describe who? How would we? And it's good to see you not in Costco. So we just saw each other at Costco yesterday.
Yeah, that's another thing. It was my mistake. I didn't think you would be here. I thought you would be at CRJ.
Yeah.
Second thing that I want to address and bring the question back to is the issue of politics and religion, and the whole idea of being Muslim is something very, very significant, because the whole question of anti-Semitism and Muslim, I think we would both agree that it came in large part due to Minister Louis Farrakhan. And what has happened historically, our brother who preceded him, Malcolm X, never had this disdain for Muslims, but he was critical of Israel. And I think what has also been swallowed up is the idea that those that are inhabitants of Israel aren't really as much clinging to the spirituality that I think you spoke of in terms of the religion, but in terms of the politics and nationalism. Now, my question comes down to the issue. Well, one more comment. When we look at specifically the fact that Janet opened it up with the idea that we're on Tongva and Chumash land, and that is a problem to some in the Christian community, then the whole idea that the 1619 project, which our dear sister more or less tried to address, is being dismissed. And these same people that more or less address this idea of being fundamentalist Christian aren't shy about also being political, even though it could violate the 501c3. My question now becomes, what is it in the way of your commentary or your education, how it is we can address that issue where people do not necessarily want to be educated, but at the same time recognize that their power is inherent within their religious, spiritual, and political faith?
So there was so much embedded in what you said. I will just say this, that both what you said and what the sister before you talked about with politics and religion, and really power and spirituality is really what we're talking about. I think that we can do as much as we can to explain and have conversation, but I think that really we gotta do, right? And so we win folks over mostly by doing. And I think that, a lot of people are moved by us pouring libation at Black Lives Matter protests, right? Or the way in which we pray is a part of our regular way of being, right? So I think that the politics and religion question is much better answered by our willingness to demonstrate what we mean by that.
Thank you so much, Melina.
Thank you.
And I don't know, Rachel Rose Lucky.
Good morning, Melina. I'm a transgender woman, and I really want to thank you in the discussion that you had with Kim for mentioning the transgender community. So many times in so many discussions, we're left out of the conversation. I am a transgender activist. I have been for the last 6 or 7 years. I'm also running for LA City Council, partly because I want to elevate the transgender community by doing so. but I'm also white. But as a transgender activist, I fight for all transgender people, and that includes Black transgender people. We know that Black transgender women in particular are being murdered at an alarming and disproportionate rate. I have been trying to wrap my head around, as a white person, how to get involved with BLM on the issue of transphobia, particularly, and homophobia more generally, within the Black community, and how I can work with your organization to see what we can do about, I don't know if it takes education or I guess my question, I don't know what it takes to change the hearts and minds, particularly of Black men who are transphobic and homophobic. And so I would look to you for direction on how I can be an outspoken member of the transgender community within BLM to elevate this to some sort of a degree where we start changing hearts and minds.
Oh, you're on mute, Melina.
So thank you for that question, especially around how you can contribute. And I want to be as clear in my words as possible. I think it's essential that when we're talking about oppression and targeting of communities, that those communities be the one to lead. So for you as a white trans person, for me as a Black cis person, my role, our roles are ones of support. And I think that we need to seek out, especially if you're talking about how do we, your question was specifically, I think the quote was, change the hearts and minds of Black cis men. I'm inserting the cis.
Yes.
I think that's really a conversation that Black community needs to lead. And I also think that it's important that we think about transphobia. And I always feel like that term is insufficient because it's beyond transphobia. It's not just fear, it's violence, right? And how that actually doesn't come from Black community itself, right? That there's a much larger issue that we inherit from the existing hegemony, which is white supremacist. And I think maybe that's the space that you occupy, right? That you have to organize in your own community. We have to think about how white supremacist space and white supremacist hegemony kind of dictates for groups that are not in power as well. So, that's kind of where I would go, is that for how to engage Black trans communities, I'm looking for the leadership of Black trans people to lead me and to be willing to follow that lead, rather than thinking that I have something to offer other than support, right? So I should be supporting their leadership.
I don't disagree with anything you said, but I would like to add on to that I find that it is a lot of times the religious the people that are very religious are, whether it's white, Black, or otherwise, are the ones that are harboring the most homophobia and transphobia.
That's true, and that's a whole nother
And
issue.
why this is why I think it's important to have to, as we talk about Black community, that Black community leads, because so there's a spirit child of mine, Naeem Rasul, who is a Black trans man who's written heavily on this. And what he talks about is what's interpreted by white society as intense homophobia within Black communities is actually not the same as the homophobia that's experienced outside of Black community. So what Naeem talks about is, I love this example, is that Black people don't kick people out the family for being gay, right? Even if they're intensely religious. What he says is they want you to come to the family reunion and then they want to tease you when you're there, right? So it's important to remember that, not to discount that there's absolutely homophobia in Black communities and in Black churches, but there's also a really strong and ongoing Black gay presence in churches. Everybody knows that the choir director is gay. They just don't want to talk about who his boyfriend is, right? And so it's a different kind of homophobia and a different kind of conversation that really has to be led by that community. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that I'm conveying these writings and teachings in a way that honors the work.
Thank you for your response.
Thank you so much. Okay, Claudia, and then Trudy. Claudia? And then that we'll end with Trudy.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, a quick comment and then a question. My comment is that I have been having discussions with Jean Gasca about trying to bring to the church discussion about COVID. I'm deeply immersed in science, and I had hoped to put together something that could help people make personal decisions. But I really love this talk because my experience also brings into view the politics of the situation. And I've wanted to bring that in because if you don't discuss that, then how can you discuss how people can make decisions with trust? And so thank you for this. I feel like you've opened up a way to discuss it. My question now to you is, how do you define, or what do you think about the separation of church and state as, I think, a foundation of democracy and a community or a society or civilization of diversity? But I so understand what you were trying to say about the combination of politics and spirit, but how do you then move that into the creation of a state and the separation of church and state?
Oh, that's an easy one. Yes, there should be separation of church and state. I don't want the state imposing their religion on me. I don't want to live in a religious state. What I was talking about with spirit and politics, spirit and power, is about who we are, right? But I think it's different when you talk about state imposition. Anytime you have state imposition, or almost anytime you have state imposition, it's bad for oppressed people, right? So yeah, I think that's the answer.
Thank you so much. Trudy?
Yeah, I just, first off, I just want to thank you, Melina, for sharing your time with us this morning. This is, it's been a rich conversation, and we so love and appreciate all the hard work that you do and the danger you put your life in on a daily basis. I don't believe this community knows how threatened you are at various moments, including, I guess, last month or 2 months ago, having a SWAT team appear at your house for no ungodly reason. My question is this. I mean, a lot of us are into a lot of this beautiful struggle. A lot of us serve in different ways to make this change. Um, and you know, I'm not willing to concede that it's going to take a long time to have stuff happen. When you start thinking in those terms, then of course it takes a long time. I want this stuff to move quickly. I want to see more changes in my lifetime. So I need to know if you have suggestions to my fellow church members of ways that they can be a part of not allowing this system to go back to where it was prior to COVID. How can they be more active in making sure that the Biden administration does not forget about all the deaths that have taken place in the hands of law enforcement? Nothing has been said about addressing law enforcement that I have heard from Joe or Kamala. So I want this community to know that we're in a fight, and it's a long fight. And there's ways for them to be involved to make sure that change continues to happen. Thank you.
Thanks, Trudy.
Thank you, Mama True. I always, every time I see you and hear from you, I just think about how blessed I am that I get to call you my Mama True. And that you are just such a model for so many of us, as especially Black women who are committed to transformation. So thank you for being one of my greatest models. You know, I appreciate you and love you so very much. So I'm gonna say this. You know the answer, so I think you're probably asking for everybody else. Get in where you fit in. We need you to get in where you fit in. So we need you to remember that the world is cracked wide open and anything is possible. And the people who are in power, who have been in power, they want the world to go back. They're creating conditions that are trying to make us long for a pre-March 2020 world, as if that was great, right? And so, you know, we have to, I think, on a daily basis, engage our radical imagination, right? We have to do our meditation, do our prayer work, engage in courageous conversations, and really vision the way we want the world to move, right? And so doing the work means some tangible things. It means putting your body on the line, right? So I don't mean that your home has to get swatted. That was terrible. But it means showing up for things. And it's easier to show up now than it's ever been, because almost everything you're showing up for is just a matter of cracking your computer open, right? So every Tuesday, the police commission has its meetings, and they're doing some terrible things right now. Like they just passed a body cam policy. They're spending all this money on body cams that we know are racist, that we know are surveilling Black people, that we know are going to be hugely problematic. And they did it over the voices of thousands of people. Okay, so we need to grow that number exponentially and make it tens of thousands of people, right? We know that the mayor of this city committed $250 million, 150 million of which was supposed to be defunded from LAPD, and he is reneging on it. Well, it's because he thinks nobody's paying attention. And so we need everybody to pay attention. We need people to put their bodies or virtual bodies on the line for the people who were killed by police. And we need to remember that even as LAPD celebrates the fact that only 7 people were killed by police in 2020, by LAPD in 2020, that the number has gone down because there's a correlation between Black Lives Matter activism and the downward trend of killings by police. But where it's going up is with the sheriff's department. So we got to get rid of Alex Villanueva. And Black Lives Matter is in the midst of also a campaign called End Police Associations. If you're in a labor union, we need you to take a position and get them kicked out of the county board of federation. ALADS needs to get kicked out. We need to be protesting in front of the LA Police Protective League every single week, and we're moving in that direction. If you'd like to get involved, you can email me. We meet every single Friday morning and plot and plan and figure out what we're gonna do. We also need your voice. So we need you to amplify the messages from Black Lives Matter. If you go to blmla.org, you can sign up for our newsletter. And the second item in the newsletter is 60 seconds for justice, quick things you can do right now. It's 60 seconds, do those things, and it will actually move the needle towards justice. And then lastly, we need resources. And so when I say resources, people say, oh, Black Lives Matter has a lot of money. We're grateful that people were very generous after the murder of George Floyd. And we also know that we need more. It takes about $2 million to create $2 million annually to make a local organization sustainable. And so more money is always great, but also resources mean something more than money. If on Tuesday on the End Police Association's action, we had 3 of our folks arrested. We needed people who could jump into urgent action and provide legal support at the jail. We needed healers at the jail so that when people were released, they were released in a way that could minimize their trauma, right? Resources also means that the people who are on the jail support team are sitting in front of the jail for 10 hours in this case, and they're hungry and thirsty too. Can you just go down there and bring them some food, right? So resources means many, many different things, but those are the ways we get involved. And when you say, you know, you're speaking about the fierce urgency of now, in the words of Dr. King, right, Mama True, that we cannot wait. This is our people's bodies on the line, our people's lives on the line, as we're looking at what's happening throughout this country, but especially in Los Angeles, where, you know, before the pandemic, they had counted 60,000 unhoused people. And now they're anticipating another 100,000 people will lose housing within the next few months. This is an urgent matter. This is about people's actual lives. And so we can win, though, when we all commit to being involved. And if all of us get involved, if it's not just dependent on a few folks, but all of us, then we'll win quickly. We're gonna win, but we'll win more quickly when there's more people who are committed.
Ashe and ashe. Thank you so much, Dr. Melina Abdullah. And we know that you've got a face-to-face commitment that you have coming right up. So I so appreciate you and the time that you took yesterday. And Reverend Janet, do you want to say something there?
I just want to say thank you so much. Before you got here, I was letting them know that you're one of the people I respect the most on this planet. You do what you believe. You have integrity going out the window. You are honest. You are bold. You're courageous. You don't give up. You never stop. And you are a spiritual being. And I love the answer to your question about spirit. It's connected. What people do and what they believe is always connected. And we're always political. You can't live and not be political. So at any rate, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being with us, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Reverend Janet. Can I offer just one more thing? Because there's something I forgot to share.
So yesterday, I was able to take a few hours with my oldest daughter and go to TJ Maxx and get a couple of little fun things, new soap dispenser and stuff like that, right? And as we were in the line, there was a Black family in front of us, and we were approaching the next cash register, and they were leaving, and one of them, they were 3 women, I think, turned and said, she recognized us, and she turned and said, you know, I don't want to leave without saying thank you. And this is for me in Tandiwe. And she said, held up her hands and said, I offer blessings over you and your entire family.
Oh.
And I just want to say that as I talk about the 3 things that you can bring, you know, we all have spiritual work and spiritual tools, but we need you. I know it sounds like easy, but it's not always easy. Please pray for this work. Like, please use your spiritual tools to empower this work. Please pray for our constant protection, and not just mine. I'm grateful for those prayers. And the way she did that, really, you can see it touched me deeply. But I think about movement elders who have been in this for 50 years and more, and how Baba Akili, when we were protesting in front of the mayor's house, was knocked over and trampled by LAPD. He's 72 years old. They could have killed him. You know, please pray for this work. Pray for our safety, pray for our victory, because this is really all of our victory. And those prayers mean something. They're the reason why when LAPD surrounded my house with assault rifles and I walked out, right? So please continue to do that work. And I greatly appreciate this spiritual community and the home that I found. I know I don't visit much, Reverend Janet, but I do consider you a place of home. And I'm grateful for all of the space and energy and love that you've given us.
Melina, can we all raise our arms up? I mean, I know we're virtual and it's not the same as if Melina was in our midst in the middle of a big circle. We were all touching one another, but you know, let's just surround her and the movement with all of the love that you have, whatever it is that, whatever you call God, or you don't believe, whatever the spirit is to you. But for me, it's a blessing of God. And we just bless Melina, not only Melina, but Melina's family, her children, and also for all of us that are, everyone who is involved in the work. We ask your blessing and we surround her with care and with protection. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I say.
Thank you.
Love you, Melina.
Thank you
Thank
so
you guys.
much.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Love
come back
you,
home
love
to-
you.
This is your home. I'm glad you feel it because it is your home.
Indeed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let racism turn me round, no, turn me round. Ain't gonna let racism turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let police brutality turn me round, no, turn me round, oh, turn me round. Ain't gonna let police brutality turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Hey, ain't gonna let sexism turn me round, no, turn me round, oh, turn me round. Ain't gonna let sexism. Turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking. Keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Nobody ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. Oh, turn me round. Turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, yeah. Keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ah. Mm, 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 mm.
What an incredible morning. Thank you so much, Kim, Janet, Melina. It's incredible to be here. All right. Today, right after church, we're going to have our communion, first Sunday of the month, 12 o'clock, right at, well, that's in 1 minute. So not maybe 5 minutes after we end. Bring some food, bring something to drink, to share. It's a ritual of communion. Tuesdays at 2, Fred Whitlock will lead us in poetry readings, part 3. Come Tuesdays at 2. LGBTQIA plus support and advocacy team meeting Wednesday, February 10th at 5:45 via Zoom. Committee for Racial Justice book group will meet Saturday, February 13th from 1 to 3. Let's see. Our CRJ, Committee for Racial Justice workshop in February will be held Sunday, February 21st. The title is In Pursuit of Happiness, Empowering the Black Family. We will have a panel from the LA Black Mental Health Task Force. You'll get more information later. And then there's a community social justice book discussion on white fragility. Thursday, February 18th, 4 to 5:30 on Zoom. Also, Tuesday, February 16th, there will be Shrove Tuesday. Ash Wednesday service will meet Wednesday, February 17th at 12 noon via Zoom. The beginning of Lent. We're going to have Claudia Landis discussing COVID. She's a member of our church. You heard her speak today. She's a physician on February 16th and 23rd at 2 o'clock. She's going to talk about COVID. This is something Hurley Jim is involved with, and myself and Jean. Justice LA, Mondays and Fridays, 10:30 to 12, Wednesdays, 6:30 to 8:30. It's a wonderful way to take some actions in imagining LA, taking on the sheriff, taking on the county of LA. We have a YouTube channel. All of our Sunday services are being posted on YouTube. And a reminder, if you shared and you don't want to be heard, let me know, please. Next Sunday, February 14th at 10:15, we will have our regular church service, Black Families Matter, with Dr. Lucille W. Ijoy and Dr. Kim Harris. Wonderful. That's next Sunday. There's 3 ways to give. You can text, you can go to the website, or you can mail checks. All right, that's it.
So now we're going to move into our joys and concerns. So please, I know Louise has something wonderful to play for us, and put your joys and concerns, birthdays and anniversaries into the chat. And this has been such a great way to begin our month with a focus on Black history. So please put it into the chat.
Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the water. I wish those who have died have never, never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the groaning woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead have a pact with the living. They are in the woman's breast. They are in the wailing child. They are with us in our homes. They are with us in the crowd. The dead have a pact with the living. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath. 'Tis the voice of the water. I wish those who have died have never, never left. The dead have a pact with the living. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the groaning woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings.
Thank you so much, Louise. So from Bonnie, lifting up her neighbor Carol. From Jean, saying it was Gary's birthday on Wednesday, February the 3rd. Happy birthday, Gary. Lifting up, once again, Dr. Melina, Abdullah, and Black Lives Matter, and lifting up all who are working for justice, that we can be a spiritual support in addition to physical and intellectual and emotional and social support to them too. Prayers for Gina on the death of her blessed aunt. So we're remembering you, Gina. Lifting up the Jewish family being harassed in Fred's neighborhood. And may neighbors come together to work for peace and for the consolation of that family and for protection. Prayers for the Day family. Oh, and for the passing of the mother of the Day family. Prayers for the people of Peru and other countries, and that they're waiting to get vaccines, and for equitable and just rollout of vaccines in this country as well. Prayers for the Fertrell family for the passing of their brother from the complications of COVID-19, for the Fertrell family. And in recognition of this morning, and especially the music, yes. Thank you, Claudia. Prayers for the Fleming family, for the passing of the mother of that family at 90 years old. And we, of course, we lift you up, Louise. Lift you up, you say, lifting up for chronic sinus issues. So we certainly lift you up. And there's so many ways that you lift us up each and every Sunday. So thank you so much. And for Reverend Sandy Richards, her birthday today. Yes, happy birthday. And from Bob, happy birthday to his daughter, Anna. Yes, happy birthday, Anna. And I think that's our list for today. Did I miss something? Oh, for Chris. Oh, Chris Chandler says, well, happy birthday to me today. Happy birthday, Chris. Happy birthday.
All right.
Are we going to sing happy birthday?
Yeah, let's do that now. Good idea.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Anna. Happy birthday, dear Gary. Happy birthday, dear Sandy. Happy birthday, dear Chris. Happy birthday to you.
Great. Thank you. Happy birthday, everybody. Let's finish this service with Carry It On by Gil Turner. There's a man by my side walking. There's a voice within me talking. There's a word that needs a saying. Carry it on. Carry it on. Carry it on. Carry it on. They will tell their lying stories, bring their dogs to bite our bodies. They will lock us in prison. Carry it on, carry it on, carry it on, carry it on. All their lies will be forgotten. All their dogs will lie there rotting. All their cribbers and walls will crumble. Carry it on. Carry it on. Carry it on. Carry it on. If you can't go on any longer, take the hand of your sister and brother. Every victory brings another. Carry it on, carry it on, carry it on, carry it on. If you can't go on any longer. Take the hand of your sister and brother. Every victory brings another. Carry it on, carry it on, carry it on, carry it on.
So let's do that, y'all. Let's unmute. Let's unmute and take our hand of our sister and brother. We say the words, carry it on, just like in the song. 1, 2, 3. Carry it
on!
Carry on.
Oh, yes.
Carry it on.
Morning.